Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Hannah Blackwell, and today I'm going to be bringing you some summer book recommendations that are perfect for Once Upon a Readathon Treasure Island. I'm really excited for these recommendations because a lot of these are some of my favorite books of all time. That's right. Favorite books of all time. They are perfect for summer reading. So whether or not you are participating in Once Upon a Readathon, which you should be, but whether or not you are, you can still get some great recommendations to read in the summertime from this list. If this is the first time that you are hearing about Once Upon a Readathon, then I will go ahead and have my announcement video linked down in the description so you can check it out. I will have some other additional links down below. There are 8 amazing co-hosts for this readathon. It's going to be a ton of fun. It is mood reader friendly. And it's just been a blast. We've been chatting it up on Discord. There's been a lot of fun recommendation videos, a lot of fun stuff going on. We have merch. There's an Instagram, a Twitter. It's going to be a great time. I'm really already having fun. There's a ton of buddy reads going on the Discord too. So everyone is going to be having fun, reading books together, chatting it up about these summer reads, and just having a good time. All that's down below in the description. So check it out if you are interested. Also, down below in the description is all of my social media in case you want to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or Goodreads. Please don't forget to like this video and click the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I post new videos. Make sure that you have subscribed if you haven't already. And with all of that out of the way, let's just get into this video. So this video is going to be split up into 5 categories, and that's going to be the 4 team mascots. So mermaids, pirates, dragons, and gin. I don't know. I can't. Do you guys have this issue? Gin. Oh my gosh. Anyway, and then also water settings. You also get extra points for BIPOC and LGBTQ plus authors. I'm going to have that listed. I'll talk about like what you get extra points for all these books. But in terms of the categories, it's going to be mixed up into those 5 categories, but I will discuss all the points you'll get, whether or not you're going to be able to attack other teams, etc., etc. The first team I'm going to talk about is mermaids. And for mermaids, I have a few really good recommendations in here. For mermaids, you can also read books that are sirens, krakens, anything that's like half human, half fish. That counts. So the first book I'm going to recommend for mermaids is Into the Drowning Deep by Mara Grant, which is a pen name for Shauna McGuire. This is a horror / sci-fi about killer mermaids. And it is honestly one of my favorite horrors of all time. It is creepy, it is atmospheric, it is set on the water. It's about this group of researchers and documentary filmers that all go out to try to prove the existence of mermaids at the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean. And they find them, and the mermaids are not so happy about it. Horror ensues from there. It's a really cool book. I definitely recommend it, and it would be perfect for this readathon. You would also get extra points for LGBTQIA+. Sorry about that. I accidentally just kicked my little stand here. So if the framing is a little bit off, that's why. So the next book is going to be Zodiac Academy. There are sirens in this book, in this whole series. So it definitely counts. If you read this, you would be getting points for sirens or mermaids if you're on Team Mermaids, plus the regular 100 points for a book. And you would be able to attack Team Dragon, because there are dragons in here, by 50 points. Vice versa if you're on Team Dragons. This is a series about these twins who discover that they are fae. They enter into this Zodiac Academy, which is like a college, and there they are bullied by these 4 celestial heirs whose parents have taken over the throne since these twins went missing. They're back now, and they may just claim their throne. For now, they don't really want to, and so they don't want to be bullied, obviously. Craziness and adventure and drama and messy relationships ensue from here. It's a fantasy romance. I definitely recommend it. No, it's not for everyone. No, the writing is not perfect, but it is addictive. There is crack in these pages. This is a really fun series. I've had a bunch of fun reading it, so definitely I recommend this book, but I understand it's not for everyone. Next, for Team Gin, I definitely recommend City of Brass. which is the first book in the David Bad trilogy. I recommend the whole David Bad trilogy, but the whole trilogy has djinn in them. There is a book in this series, I think it's the third book, where some pirates appear, so that might help you attack another team. This whole series follows Nari, who is like a con woman, kind of. She basically accidentally summons a djinn, and he takes her to the magical city of Davidbad. This is a political epic fantasy series, and I adored it. I had a lot of fun reading the series. I really enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend. So you would get 100 points for reading a book, obviously, and then 50 points if you were reading your mascot. And then depending on where you are in the series, you may be able to attack pirates as well. One book about djinn that I'm really excited to get to, it's actually the first book in a series, and I think this first one is a novella, and it's called Dead Djinn in Cairo by P. Jelly Clark. And I've heard wonderful things about this series. I really want to check it out, but I don't know much about it. I have had this book. I bought it like 2 years ago. It's been on my Kindle, and I haven't gotten to it, so I'm hoping I can use Once Upon a Readathon as an excuse to get to it. Because during this readathon, I'm not partaking in any team. I'm just basically reading as many mascots and water settings as I can. So I want to check out this novella. I think it'd be perfect for the readathon because you get a quick 100 points. Plus, if you are on Team djinn, you would be able to get that extra 50. I think this may count as a BIPOC author. I have to look that up. And also, you could obviously be attacking Team djinn if you wanted to do that as well, if you are on a water team. Okay, so for pirates, the first book I'm going to talk about is Traitor Witch by Mary Mystery. I've talked about this repeatedly on my channel. I adore this trilogy. This is the first book in the trilogy, and this is a why choose fantasy romance about a lunar witch who is fated to these pirates, and they are all different magical creatures. So there's shifters, vampires, and there's like a warlock. There is a siren as well, so this would work for Team Mermaids and for Team Pirates as well. Obviously, y'all can't attack each other, but either of the water teams can get this. There's also extra points for a water setting. I'm not sure if I included that for Into the Drowning Deep. Now that I'm thinking about it, that would get you water setting points as well. Anywhere that has a water setting. So anyway, the point is this would get you 50 points for water setting, 50 points for pirates or mermaids, plus the 100 points for just reading a book. So for either water team, you would get 200 points for reading this. So my other fantasy romance that I want to discuss for Team Pirates is going to be Captive of the Pirate King. And this book is such a fun time. I think I gave it 4 stars. I just really, really had a good time with this. This is about a girl who basically, she's on this ship. She's trying to go find her brother. And she has these magical powers, which are very unique. And that's all I'll say about that. But she is on her way, and then her ship gets attacked by pirates. These famous pirates are known for letting women just kind of sail off, and the women generally die. They don't accept the women on the crew. The men who they capture, any men who yield, they will have them come onto the ship and then work as pirates if they want to. Otherwise, they're off. She decides to try to masquerade as a boy so that she doesn't get sent off onto a small boat in the middle of the ocean just to go die. And she quickly becomes captive, obviously, of the Pirate King, as is the name of the series. And so it's got one of my favorite tropes, which is captive. It's got a water setting, it's pirates, so 200 points for the pirate team. And it is just a really, really, really fun time. It's a standalone, so no commitment there. Definitely recommend. So for Pirates and Dragons, I do want to talk about Ship of Magic, and this is by Robin Hobb. This whole series is perfect for either team, so you can get points for your team if you're on pirates and also attack dragons, and vice versa, dragons and pirates. In this first book, there's not like a lot of dragons, but I will count it. It's more like a talk about them, and so I will definitely count that. And I definitely have loved the series. I'm currently reading the 3rd book in it. This is the 2nd series in the Robin Hobb universe of the Realm of the Elderlings. And a lot of people say that you can read this before reading the Farseer trilogy. I don't recommend that, honestly, because I think it would contain spoilers. And that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but I'm kind of weird about spoilers. I definitely recommend reading the Farseer trilogy first. I also think the Farseer trilogy is shorter. The first book is only 400 pages, so it's just way less of a commitment than trying an 800-page book by an author you've never read before. I've been loving this series. I think I still like the Farseer trilogy a little bit better, but I think it's a very unpopular opinion. Most people love this series. It's most people's favorite in the Realm of the Elderlings. and I have adored it. I give the first book 5 stars, the second book 4 stars, and so far the third book is feeling like 5-star material. So totally recommend. Beautiful, slow-paced, character-driven. So keep that in mind. Slow-paced, character-driven. This is not a plot-driven book, but there is a very good plot. So with all of that said, some good points here and a really enjoyable read. So let's just get the rest of the chunk out of the way, right? Shall we? Okay, Priory of the Orange Tree. This has dragons and pirates. So this would get you 200 points. While Ship of Magic gets you a water setting, I would say it's arguable that Priory is a water setting. I don't actually think it is, but because it's arguable, I will leave it up to y'all. I'm not going to monitor y'all's points. If you think it's a water setting in your point of view, then that's just fine. I think that for some of these prompts, it's so subjective and it's what you think, what you believe. It's a water setting. Okay, so there's plenty of water in this book and there are lots of scenes with water. So totally arguable. But The Priory of the Orange Tree is an epic fantasy series. It follows a cast of characters, including 2 really strong, powerful women on opposite sides of the world. And so we follow a queen and then we follow a dragon rider. But I thought that the world was beautiful and I just overall really enjoyed it. And I think it's a wonderful and perfect book for this readathon because I feel like it has the vibes of it, right? Next for dragons, I have a much quicker read, and that's a fantasy romance by Ruby Dixon, the queen of alien romance, but also fantasy romance as well, and it's called Fire in His Blood. And this is a dragon shifter romance. It is like post-apocalyptic. Dragons have come down and basically destroyed the world in a way, and so people are scared and hiding from them because you never know when they're going to attack. And our main character basically gets sacrificed to one. It ends up that they are mates and they fall in love and it's just a good romance. It's a very fun time. Steamy, smutty, fun, adventure. Ruby Dixon just knows how to do a good, fast-paced, fun romance, and I definitely recommend if you want to get those points in quick as well. This would get you 150 points for the dragon team. Additionally, for Team Pirates, I'd like to point out a couple of books that I have my eye on, and one is Sea of Ruin by Pam Godwin. This is a historical dark romance, and I think it might be polyamorous. And we also have Tress of the Emerald Sea, which is a cozy fantasy by Brandon Sanderson. For dragons, some additional books that would be perfect for this team and that I would like to read is Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I have started up a soft DNF'd it just because I really wanted to pick up the next Live Ship Traders book, and I was reading too many books at the time. But I do still really want to read this. This is a Viking-inspired epic fantasy series by John Gwynne that has dragons in it. And also an African-inspired dragon epic fantasy series. This is military fantasy by Evan Winters, and it's called Rage of Dragons. Definitely would count as well, plus you would get the BIPOC points. I also have some mermaid books on my TBR that I think would be perfect for the mermaid prompt. The first one is The Sea Witch by Rebecca Kenny, and I've heard nothing but good things about this, and I think the Sea Witch is actually the male hero, and this is a Little Mermaid retelling that I've heard is quite spicy. Also, I am really intrigued by All the Murmuring Bones by A.G. Slatter. This is supposed to be very gothic and dark, but fantasy. I think there might be some romance, and I'm getting the idea it's going to be super atmospheric and a whole ton of vibes. I'm also super interested in The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah, and I've heard really good things about this, and I feel like the synopsis is giving me very much the vibes of Daevabad, and I think that it's going to be very political, and I've really only heard good things about this book. Okay, so finally, let's get to these water recommendations. I'm going to go through these kind of quickly because I feel like this video is getting long. So the first one is going to be a fun thriller. This is set partially on the water and partially on an island, and it's Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. In general, this book was not mind-blowing. It was not my favorite thriller of all time, but it was fun and it gave me exactly what I wanted at the time, which was island vibes summer thriller. And that's what it gave me. It's set in the Pacific, and it's about this woman who she's dating this guy. They have a boat. They decide to take these girls out to an island for a ridiculous sum of money. Things go haywire from there, and it's just a good time. It's a fun thriller, not really much of a mystery, mostly just a thriller, and it's just a good time. It's a really fast-paced read. You'll get through it really quickly. The chapters are short. It's also a short book, so definitely you would get the water setting points, and you would also get just 100 points for reading a book. One book that I have soft DNF, but I really want to pick back up is Nomads of the Sea by Kobe Zucker. This is a self-pub book about Pacific Islanders, and it's a political epic fantasy series. And this is the last, I think this is the last chunky one. I swear. But I wanted to point it out because I did soft DNF it while I was enjoying it. I was reading too many books at the time. I mean, I know you guys hear this from me quite often. It's something I say because it's something I do. And so I really would like to pick it back up. It is about these islanders. They are like a seafaring culture, and then there are these colonizers. There's going to be more in this series, and I would like to pick this one back up. And it's a beautiful water setting, and I think it's also very fitting for a summer read and for this readathon. For a feel-good cozy fantasy, definitely check out The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune if you haven't already. This is a cozy fantasy about this guy who's in charge of checking out these homes for these magical youth to make sure that everything is functioning well, that these youth are being taken care of. And so he goes to this house in the Cerulean Sea where these really dangerous magical youth are on a special mission to spend a month there and really make sure that things are up to snuff. This is a really sweet story. You would get points for LGBTQIA+, plus water setting, so 200 points total. And some of the characters are questionable, so I'll leave that up to you whether you choose to count them as your mascot or not. I swear, I'm gonna stop lying. I'm going to stop lying, I promise. This really is the last big chunky book on this recommendation list. What can I say? I like chunky books, okay? I like big books and I cannot lie. Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wong. This was my #1 favorite book of 2022 for good reason. And it's set on this peninsula and it is surrounded by water, and there are elemental powers, and the characters in this book have water elemental powers, so it definitely counts as a water setting. It's also amazing. It is all about family and girl power, and our main character trying to navigate her way through a world controlled by men and having to literally hide away her inner strength. So I adored this book. I can't say enough good things. I don't have enough time to rant on about it, about how much I freaking adore it, but please do read this. If not during this readathon, please read this at some point. The plot structure is very unique. It is not a classical plot structure. It actually experiences its like major climax, or at least one of its major climaxes, halfway through the book. It's pretty different that way, but I adored it, and I love that this author did something a little bit different, and I really loved it. I think that's it. That was a lot of books. I hope this video is not too long. I haven't even checked. I'm really hoping everything recorded okay. Once again, haven't checked. So if you like this video, please go ahead and click the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already. Let me know down below, what team are you on? Are you participating in Once Upon a Readathon? If you haven't, all that information will be down below in the description, along with my information, including my Goodreads, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to comment but you don't know what to leave, just go ahead and leave a water emoji. And until next time, fellow readers, keep reading and living your best life.
Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.